It's like I don't care about nothing, man. Yeah. Oh,
What's going on, guys? This video is going to be on triangle inequality and about finding out which side is the longest based on the angles and also being able to tell which one is the shortest based on the angles. So by the end, you should know what triangle inequalities is and how to find those sides. All right, so let's start the notes. Now up top, we have a few blanks that we need to fill in. First one says triangle inequality with, the first one's going to be 1. So with one triangle. So it goes on to say the sum of the length of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the length of the third side. So if I add up any two sides, they are supposed to be greater than whatever the last side is. Okay, so the next one says the shortest side is opposite from the smallest angle. Likewise, if we went the other way with that, the longest side will go with the largest angle. So when we do the critical thinking question, yes, we actually have to do a little bit of thinking in math.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
This is saying, why is the hypotenuse of a right triangle always said to be the longest side? So this goes with what we said here with the relationship between sides and the angles of a triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a right triangle real quick. Now, a right triangle has to have a 90-degree angle, so I'll go ahead and put that there. Up here it says the longest side is always going to be opposite the largest angle. So if this is 90 degrees, this has to be my biggest angle. Because if you add all the angles inside a triangle up, they have to equal 180. So if this one's 90, nothing else can be bigger than that. So across from the largest angle will be the largest side, which we call in a right triangle a hypotenuse. So this is the hypotenuse. So it is across from the largest angle. Okay, so for the first example problem, it wants us to show your work to determine the side lengths listed below form a triangle. So we're trying to see if it can, in fact, form a triangle. Now there is a rule. I am going to write this rule, but so it doesn't take as much time, I'm just going to write it and show it to you. Alright, so as promised, I went ahead and put in the rule. So the rule is you add the two shortest sides together, and it must be greater than the third side in order to be a triangle. So, for instance, the two smallest is the 9 and the 40. So I'm going to add those together. When I do that, I'm going to get 49. Now, in order to be a triangle, it has to be greater than 41, which was the last side here. So since it is, in fact, true, we can say that it can be a triangle. So based on the sides, those sides could form a triangle. And the next one, number 2, would be one I would want you to try yourself.
Boo! You stink!
So now, number 3 slightly different. It's wanting us to find the possibilities of the third side. So we're still going to keep the rule that we had in mind, but we're going to be finding a range. So we're trying to find what number x can be in between. So we're trying to find the smallest number it can be in between and the biggest number it can be in between. So I am going to go ahead and show you the rule. So as promised, here's the rule.
Hey! Wow.
So to find them, you're going to add and subtract to find the possible answers. So when we do the subtraction, that's going to find our lowest value. When we do the addition, that's going to find our upper value. So for instance, with the 34 and 22, when I go to subtract them, just keep in mind that a triangle cannot have a negative side value. So when I subtract them, I need to do 34 minus 22. So that's what's going to be on the left side. This right here means less than x less than, so whatever, so this gives us a range of any number in between something is what this symbol means. On the right side, we're going to do the addition. So this side will be 34 plus 22. So when I do this, 34 minus 22 is 12. And when I add them together, I get 56. So the x value has to be between 12 and 56. So any number in between 12 and 56 would be a possible answer. Okay, so now we're on page 2. I'm going to skip number 5 in this video and go to number 6. This one says, list the sides in order from longest to shortest. Use proper notation. So this goes back to the rules that we had on the first page, where we talk about the shortest side goes with the smallest angle. And then the largest angle is going to go with the largest side. So make sure that you pay attention to which way they want you to do this. So they said from longest to shortest. That's very important. So I have to go in that order in order to be correct. So the longest side will be across from the largest angle. So when I say across, you go the opposite side. So opposite of angle D is EF. So my longest side must be EF. Now the next biggest side will be across from the next biggest angle, which is 30. So this is kind of my middle one, and that would be DF. And last but certainly not least, across from the 25 degrees is angle ED, or not angle, sorry, side ED, and that would be them done from longest to shortest based on the angles. Okay, so now number 8. Number 8 says solve for x and order the sides from shortest to longest. So again, make sure you pay attention to this. A lot of times where people make the mistake is not because they don't know how to do it, they just get lazy and don't read the either shortest to longest or longest to shortest part. So when we do this, they told us a equation for A, B, and C. So what we want to do, and what I always expect you to do whenever you have a word problem, is to draw it out. We're dealing with a triangle. So I'm going to draw a triangle. Now we don't know what kind of triangle it is, so it can be very generic at the moment. But I do know that the vertices are A, B, and C. So for A, they told me we're dealing with 12x minus 9. For B, they told me that it was 62 minus 3x. And for C, they told me it was 16x plus 2. So, in order to do this one, first I have to solve for x. They gave us all different angles. If we're dealing with angles in a triangle, hopefully you remember triangle sum, which is all angles inside the triangle have to add up to 180. So if I add every angle, so 12x minus 9 plus 62 minus 3x plus 16x plus 2, this would all have to equal 180 degrees. So next step would be to combine like terms. So 12x will combine with the negative 3x and the 16x. So 12x minus 3x is 9x. 9x plus 16x is 25x. So I combine my x's. Now the other thing that needs to combine is the negative 9, positive 62, and positive 2. So negative 9 plus 62 is 53. 53 plus 2 is 55. So we have plus 55 equals 180 degrees. So now I want to subtract 55 from both sides. When I do that, it will cancel out over here on the left. And on the right, it will turn into 125. So we have 25x equals 125. Now, divide by 25 to both sides. Whoops, 25. And when I do that, x will equal 5. So now that you know what x equals, now you can plug it into each of the equations to find the different angles. So 12x minus 9. Instead of x, we have 12 times 5 minus 9. So 60 minus 9, which is 51 degrees. So this angle here is 51 degrees. Angle B, we have 62 minus 3x, but instead of x, we're now going to have 5. So 62 minus 15, which, when we do 62 minus 15, we get 47. So that angle is 47 degrees. Last but not least, instead of 16x, we have 16 times 5 plus 2. 16 times 5 gives me 80, plus 2 is 82. So this angle here is 82 degrees. Now they want me to go to shortest to longest. So across from the smallest angle will be the smallest side. So AC is the shortest. Now the next smallest one is 51 degrees, so I'll go across there. That'll be BC. So that's the next shortest. And last but not least, our biggest angle is 82, so across from it will be our biggest side, AB. So that's the end of the video. This one hopefully taught you, one, how to find out if you have 3 different values, if it can be a triangle or not. You also should be able to find the third side, so giving me a range of what the third side possibly could be. You should know what triangle inequalities is. So for such a short video, you should have been able to know a lot of new things. So I hope you enjoyed.